What is going on, everyone? Mets Talk with Hayden J here. What's going on, everyone? I hope everyone is doing extremely well. I am very, very happy. We have a great game today. We have a doubleheader today. A little blur, sorry about that. We have a lot to talk about with the New York Mets. The New York Mets are playing extremely well. Big surprise, if I may say. I didn't expect this Blue Jays series really to turn out the way it did. But please, everyone, before we get started, give this video a like, give it a comment, and subscribe to the channel so that we can get more Mets and baseball fans overall to the channel, regardless if you're a Mets fan, Dodgers fan, Giants fan, Rangers fan. I welcome all baseball fans to the channel. As always, I hope everyone knows that. Whether you're a Braves fan, like I got the Braves jersey on today, please feel free to check out the channel so we can expand this channel through many other people. So as you know, in today's stream, we are going to be going over the New York Mets and Toronto Blue Jays series recap. We know that series happened. As I said, it came out very much in our favor. And then we're going to be transitioning into the New York Mets and Atlanta Braves series preview, which is starting today in about an hour almost. And then obviously there's some trades that have occurred. And then there are some trades that likely will be coming down very shortly. So we will definitely be going over that. So like I said, please give this video a like, comment, all that great stuff, and whatever else you guys could do to help out the channel. And then obviously, if anyone has any questions, comments, or concerns, please drop them below, and I will always go after them. I will go through every comment after my little rant spiel, if you would like to call it that. So quickly enough, let's just stop wasting any time. Just stop wasting any time getting into Friday's game. We saw Friday's game was marvelous. The New York Mets won this game 3-0. As we know, Tyler McGill, that's how you say his name, Tyler, not Taylor or, Tyler. Tyler McGill pitched pretty well. 6 innings pitched overall. Only allowed 2 hits. 1 walk and 5 strikeouts. He limited that pitch count extremely well. That is something that we want McGill to really start to get better with, is lower that pitch count. And Tyler McGill even had 1 inning where he only threw 4 pitches and was able to retire 3 batters. So that's something that's going to have to be on Tyler McGill's back mindset going into the season, when you're going to be relying on a lot of pitching depth. And like we said, he's starting to limit it, especially the whiffs too. He's starting to limit that also. We had Seth Lugo come up and Trevor May, who pitched quietly, no really concerns, quiet, usual outing, as hoping that we wanted out of the bullpen. And then Diaz closed the 9th for his 20th save of the season. So that was in terms of the pitching. Really no complaints there. The pitching honestly did their job. They held down the fort. But in terms of the offense, this offense really, listen, it was a left-handed pitcher on the bump in Steven Matz. Obviously, the Mets offense really struggles against left-handed hitters, except one gentleman by the name of Pete Morgan Alonso. I believe that's his middle name. Correct me if I'm wrong. But Pete Alonso broke out Friday night. He really started to show that his 2019 form is back. Simply enough, he had a 2-run homer to left in the first inning to get things started. You had a Brandon Nimmo walk as usual. And then what did Pete Alonso do? He went up to the dish and he hit a 2-run homer to the left field corner. And then later on in the 8th, Alonso hit another solo homer. So he has a total of 21 homers up to this point. And then pretty much like we said, the offense kind of struggled a little bit. Typically against lefties, this offense really does tend to struggle. We had Steven Matz, and then obviously besides Alonso, but pretty much Friday's game was awesome. Tyler McGill got the W. Steven Matz, our old friend, unfortunately did get the L, but you know what? It has to happen. That's the stuff that, has to occur during, the Mets. And then obviously Edwin Diaz did get the save. So always great to see out of this Mets team, to get some action going down. Otherwise that was Friday's game. So Friday's game was great. No complaints in terms of Friday's game. And then obviously Saturday's game wasn't really so awesome after all. Obviously, we know on Saturday's game, the Mets lost 10-3. Taijuan Walker, 4 innings pitched, 8 hits, 6 earned runs, 2 strikeouts, and 2 walks. So Not the best outing for Taijuan Walker. Obviously, he's really been struggling coming out. We know his past start in Pittsburgh wasn't super great either. If you guys do follow me on Twitter, I kind of posted a little statement analysis about it, talking about Taijuan Walker's struggles and how I think he could improve. So I don't know. I mean, listen, it's going into the second half. I said on these past streams, can he hold up into the second half? So far, he's been showing not so much good signs in terms of it, but I'm hoping he could really get something to come down, because he's going to need it. So simply enough, that was Saturday's game with Taijuan Walker. Sadly, Walker left a ton of hanging pitches over the plate, and then the fastball was pretty much had the high fastball. Blue Jays are probably, I think they're ranked number 1 or number 2 in the MLB for hitting high fastballs well. So Taijuan Walker obviously left a couple high fastballs over the plate and hanging pitches over the plate. And this hot Blue Jays offense, who really knows what to do, took advantage of it. So pretty much Walker really couldn't get the best job done. We had Miguel Castro and Yancy Diaz came in quiet, no complaints with them. We had Drew Smith and Anthony Banda, who kind of just really gave up the rest of the game at that point. And then the offense was, I don't want to say the offense was dead, because, we got 14 hits. It's just we only scored 3 runs. So obviously we know it was Hyun-Jin Ryu on the bump, another guy who is a lefty who the Mets really struggled against. Obviously, this Mets team really needs to start to be able to hit against left-handed pitchers, because, going into the playoffs, Padres, they have a lot of left-handed pitchers, Dodgers. So this is going to be something that the Mets really need to start getting down, whether that's getting a new bat to help that out or, starting to bat Dom more and Alonso more. So that's going to be something we're going to have to examine very closely. And then pretty much the offense, like I said, it wasn't dead. We were able to get 3 runs, 14 hits. Very limited walks. We know Hyun-Jin Ryu doesn't walk a lot of guys. So that's usually what we're accustomed to see out of guys like Brandon Nimmo, Pete Alonso recently. So obviously walks are very limited. In the 5th inning, there was a little bit of a rally to an extent. Alonso had an RBI single. Nimmo had an RBI single, and Dom Smith had an RBI single. So they each got base hits, just like we said. Limited walks. Hyun-Jin Ryu does not walk a lot of guys, so something that we weren't accustomed to see. But that was really Saturday's game. Mets lost 10-3. Not a good outing for Taijuan Walker. I'm hoping he can get something going, because he's coming off back-to-back bad starts. So he's going to have to start waking up soon. I did know his velocity took a little bit of a dive, but I'm not entirely concerned with it. And then obviously Sunday's game, which was yesterday, the Mets won 5-4. We had Rich Hill come on the bump to make his New York Mets debut. Honestly, 5 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, and 1 strikeout. Not bad. Really not bad for Rich Hill. Simply taking a look at Rich Hill, he's nothing crazy. He's not a crazy pitcher. But simply enough, he kept the pitch count low. He went into the 5th inning with 49 pitches thrown. That's awesome. Obviously, he has a nice spin rate. He has that to an advantage, especially the curveball. He's a fly ball guy. We did see a lot of fly balls to Dom, to Nimmo. Not so much to right field, obviously. A lot of fly balls were really hit to center field and right field. So that was really interesting to see. And then obviously, he has a nice movement on his pitches and a weird lineup. So great to see out of Dick Mountain, a.k.a. Rich Hill. Obviously, the game was tied once he left. In terms of, leaving him out there, obviously, I'm not a manager, so I can't really say what I would have done in that situation. But personally, I was a little surprised that you did not have anyone in the bullpen. Personally, I feel that once Vladimir Guerrero Jr. got on base, then that's when I felt I would have probably taken him out rather than load the bases and tie up the game. But Seth Lugo came in. After that, was able to an extent, clear up some of the damage. We had Jerry Familia come in, who's been very quiet this season, been very good, very effective. And then we had May came in during a bases-loaded jam, who really struggled. But then Aaron Loop came in to face one batter and take care of it. And then we had Edwin Diaz go in for his 21st save of the year. Never easy with Diaz. He had 1 on. All of his pitches, all the results to get out the batter was eligible, had a 3-something count. So whether it was a 3-0, 3-2. So Diaz, he's been a little nerve-wracking for me, but I'm hoping he could be fine. And then obviously the offense was pretty on point. We had Villar started off with an RBI single, down by 2 runs. Pete Alonso hit a 2-run homer to left. to drive in Conforto and himself. Always great to see Pete Alonso come into clutch. We had McNeil double to deep right center to score Villar and Davis. So that pretty much was the 2 winning runs. And then, so pretty great to see Jeff McNeil come in as a pitch hitter. Usually he's pretty good with pitch hitting clutch moments. We saw that with the Brewers series when he hit the walk-off, and then now this. So who knows? Maybe pitch hitting McNeil isn't so bad after all. But overall, I really think it's great out of this Mets team. This team is really showing good light, and I'm really liking what I'm seeing out of this team coming out of a big series. Really showed something that the Blue Jays are a very hot team. I know people are saying it all in the comment section. The Blue Jays, they are a hot, effective team. They know what to do. If you give them a task, they're pretty good at it. So the Blue Jays, just in terms of what to do with them, listen, I said we'd be fortunate enough to win 1 game. And what did we do? We took 2 out of 3. So that's all that matters. I'm glad the Mets were able to take 2 out of 3 from the Blue Jays because, the Blue Jays are in a very, big, strong division. So you wanted to get something really, really big out of them. And we were fortunate enough to. So pretty much that's what went on with the Mets and Blue Jays. Pete Alonso was on fire this series. Jeff McNeil was on fire this series. Tyler McGill, who, if someone were to ask me who was the MVP of the series, I'm probably going to go Alonso because, he pretty much gave us run support for 2 games pretty much that we won. So Pete Alonso is the MVP of this series, no doubt about it. And then in terms of the New York Mets and Atlanta Braves series, which is tonight, that does start in about 30 minutes from now. It's a 7-inning doubleheader. So that's going to be awesome. I'm excited for that. Yes, 5:10 it starts, just to confirm. 5:10 tonight is game 1. We will have Kyle Muller on the bump. Similar to Tyler McGill, he kind of has a high pitch count, but pretty much he gets the job done. He's pretty effective for the most part. 1-3 on the season, 3.20 ERA and 23 strikeouts. So nothing too crazy about this guy. I don't believe the Mets have ever faced him, so hopefully the Mets can get something, to get to him somehow. On the bump for the New York Mets, we will have Marcus Stroman, who is coming off one of his best starts in Cincinnati. We really saw that splitter slider was really helping him out. When you see a pitcher, especially Stroman, who throws a splitter slider, typically he's a ground ball guy. And I think it was great that last outing we saw more ground balls than flyouts because that shows that he's putting the ball, that he's throwing the ball well rather than him giving up barrels. And if you want to say the dead ball analogy, go ahead. But that's really what I liked in terms of seeing Stroman. So great to see out of Marcus Stroman. So hopefully we could see that again today. Game 2, which the time is to be determined, obviously, probably 8 o'clock, maybe, depending on how long game 1 goes. So game 2 for the Braves will be Bryce Wilson, 2-3 on the season, 5.34 ERA, 19 strikeouts, limits walks, but he's average to meh. I've never really heard too much of this guy, and from what I've heard from other people, he's not really too concerning, but you never know with this Mets lineup. And then for the Mets, it is to be determined. It could be, a guy like Tarpley or Banda making a start, probably an opener game. We're going to see what Rojas has in mind. I was looking at Twitter before, and that was the spiel, the dealio with that. So game 3 of this series, which will be on Tuesday, normal 9-inning game, that'll be at 7:10. We will have Charlie Morton coming on the bump, who Charlie Morton he makes the Mets' life pretty tough. 9-3 on the season, 3.65 ERA, 130 strikeouts. He has an awesome curveball. But like we said, he's pretty tough on the Mets. In his past 3 starts, he's only allowed them to have 8 hits, 4 runs, and 26 strikeouts. So, the Mets really struggle against Charlie Moore, and hopefully they can get something on in this series. And then for the Mets start, it is to be determined. You don't like to see that. You really don't like to see back-to-back to be determineds or TBAs or whatever other acronym you want to use. You don't like to see that with a playoff team. So that's something that I hope the Mets can get, done with soon. In terms of Wednesday's game, it'll be also a 7:10 start. Max Fried on the bump for the Braves, 7-6 on the season, 4.49 ERA, 85 strikeouts. He's faced the Mets a couple times this season, 8 hits, 3 runs, 11 innings pitched. And then Tyler McGill will be back on the bump for the Mets. Pretty much he's given up 0 runs in the past 12 innings, so Hopefully he can get something with that. My only complaint for McGill would honestly just be lower the pitch count. And then that's really all I really have out of him. I'm not really too concerned with Tyler McGill. I really think he could be a very helpful guy to this bullpen, and he's not even the bullpen, but this rotation. And I think maybe, if everyone gets healthy, maybe he could even not even be a bullpen guy, and you could still keep him in the rotation. So very impressive what I've been seeing out of McGill. And then Thursday's game, which is a 12-10. I don't know why they're doing these 12-10 starts. It doesn't bother me. I'm still on Eastern Standard Time, so no effect for me. But Drew Smyly will be on the bump for the Braves, 7-3 on the season, 4.30 ERA, 77 Ks. Pretty much he has a high chase rate, as we know, and he gives up a lot of fly balls, but they are kept in the yard. So hopefully, the Mets could try to, with their power, guys like Pete Alonso could keep them out of the yard. That's the goal. And then Taijuan Walker will be on the bump. He's coming off, bad starts. Something's going up with Walker. I explained about it before. So hopefully Walker could really start to show himself some more. But yeah, I mean, that is really all we have for the Mets and Braves series going ahead. I'm hoping guys like Pete Alonso could stay hot. I'm hoping guys like Jeff McNeil can, really start to show himself more. They could start to go the other way more. Conforto's been in a little bit of a slump. I think he was 1 for his last 14 coming before. So I'm hoping guys like Conforto could really start to pull the ball the other way and simply enough be more effective. Like we said, Conforto, the XBA on these pitches are looking good. They look average. They look like they're ripped. It's just the problem is he's not he's resulting in outs. So it's not power. I think it's just Conforto's own state of mind with the barrel percentage and all that deep analytical stuff, which I don't really have too much interest in. So hopefully the Mets could really start to get onto that, especially Michael Conforto, because if Conforto really breaks out, I mean, you have a hot Alonso, you have a hot McNeil, and a hot Conforto. I mean, that's awesome. I would love to see that much more. But yeah, we're going to have to see. But otherwise, that's really all I had planned in terms of the New York Mets and Atlanta Braves series preview, and then the New York Mets and Toronto Blue Jays series summary. The game does start in about 20 minutes. So to quickly, if you guys have any comments in terms of the trade deadline, if anyone does want to drop them, I will definitely read a couple of them. So pretty much from John, he's saying, what's going on? What's going on, John? I hope you're doing well. Cubs Nation, Jack in the Box, Dalton. Question from Jack in the Box. Do you think the Mets really need to look into offense at the deadline? That's a great question, man. And I've stated that a lot is, all these names are here. In terms of the Mets offense, the names are here. The guys are here. Alonso, McNeil, Nimmo, Conforto, Smith. The names are here for this offensive, team. It's just, when do we see production, and can they be productive when needed to? Clearly, the Mets have showed themselves. If they get a shutout, they can clearly, go 10-0. But, if it's a 4-4 game or a 5-4 game, can they, put on insurance runs? Or, if they're down by 1, can they score more runs? So like I said, the names to this team are here. It's just the offense, the offensive production is not being shown necessarily. So, will a guy like Chris Bryant, will a guy like Trevor Story, I mean, their defense will be awesome, sure. But the bat, I would love their bat in the lineup. I think, in terms of when our current offense is struggling, maybe they could help waken our offense a little bit. So I wouldn't mind it. Personally, I think our offense is really good. I am a little concerned maybe if we're facing a Padres pitching staff or a Dodgers pitching staff. We're having coming up in August, we're having, 14 games where it's like Dodgers, Giants, Dodgers, Giants. So that's going to be a big stretch for this Mets team where their offense is going to have to be hot and ready. So I'm really hoping this Mets team could get something. In terms of the question, it would be nice, but I wouldn't be disappointed if they didn't get any offensive pieces. I think pitching is so much more. Our pitching is elite. Our pitchers are giving up, a solid 2-3 runs per game, not even. So, if this Mets offense could be how they're supposed to be and score 5-6 runs, that's fine. 6-3, 6-2, 5-3. That's fine. Obviously, we know, there's been talks about guys like Max Scherzer. There's been talks about, Kyle Hendricks. I was about to say Liam. Kyle Hendricks, Max Scherzer, Jose Barrios. There's been talks about it. And I mean, I think we need pitching. Carrasco's coming back soon. He did pitch pretty marvelously yesterday. Carlos Carrasco, in the first inning at his rehab assignment, he struck out 3. His fastball topped out at 96 miles per hour. His off-speed pitches were very effective and useful. His off-speed pitches were very effective and made the batter's offense useful. So it's really going to be something. So hopefully this Mets offense could wake up soon. And that's all we could really ask for. But yeah, honestly, I would like it. But if we don't, I'm fine with the pitching. Baseball's my air. What's going on, man? GM, Louie, what's going on? Alexander, Z Sports Cards, Karen, Giovanni, what's going on? Yeah, great 2 other options, Kimbrel and Chafin. Bullpen, obviously, our bullpen's been a little bit iffy in terms, we've been working a lot of these guys recently because of our main pitching core has been down. So we've been working these guys a lot. So hopefully those are 2 great options, obviously. It just comes to Kimbrel, is he going to be the closer? And that's what happened this offseason is we passed so many guys because Diaz wanted to be our closer. So far, Diaz has been a little shaky, a little bit rough. He's been a little inconsistent. Last 2 starts have been good, but you never know with Diaz. So it comes to the point is if we get Craig Kimbrel on our team, could he split the time with Diaz? Is Diaz going to want that? Diaz has kind of, had his way in the offseason. I mean, we passed off on Brad Hand, which I guess has been all right over that. But, I mean, Craig Kimbrel, we've been seeing probably his prime in him this year so far. So, I mean, I would hate for that to be the issue. But great question. Connor, what's going on? John, Merlin. Connor, you were at the game Friday. Oh, Friday is going to be awesome with the black jerseys and the trade deadline. Yeah, I brought it up. That's why they're bringing it back Friday, so we can get a guy like Chris Bryant or Max Scherzer in the black uniform Friday. So that's why. There is a solid chance that Mad Max. It's very likely. I mean, it comes to the question: is he going to want to be traded away to? I mean, are the Nationals really going to trade him away to a division rival, especially where one that kind of has some history with them? Obviously, it's not like the Mets or Phillies, but still, it comes to the point is, are they going to want to trade them away to a division rival? We saw the Nationals had Harper walk to Philly, so that was kind of a stab in the back for them. But I think it comes to a point where, with Harper and then they were paying those guys so much money and just to do what? Not win a World Series. So I think there's a very solid chance. I mean, according to everyone that I've been speaking with on Twitter and all these social medias, apparently the Mets have the highest chance of pursuing him. And I mean, I'd be fine with that. We know it's a little tough, a little shaky going after pitchers, when they're 32, 33 plus years old with the exclusion of Jacob deGrom. So I don't know, that'd be my only little concern with that, to be honest with you guys, but nothing too concerning, nothing too crazy. I'm sure the Mets, they can figure it out. But Michael, what's going on, man? Marco, Alonso and McNeil are back to 2019. Yeah, man, I have to agree with you on that. You were at Friday's Blue Jays and Mets game, and it was crazy with the Alonso homers. Yeah, man, I'm glad you enjoyed that. I'm sure it was definitely an awesome game. What's going on, man? What's up? Nick, Mets need to go after a third baseman. Yeah, I mean, JD Davis has really, really been, to an extent, a little disappointing. I mean, he's made a couple nice web gems. But the thing is, I said it before, JD Davis, he could field a ground ball. He could turn a double play pretty well. It's just, basic fundamentals he could do. It's just, like we saw yesterday, when you have a runner on third going home and you have, 1 out, why'd you throw to home? Try to at least turn the double play or throw to first, you can get the out. It's that basic thinking that really destroys JD Davis. And I don't know if that makes sense, but it comes down to thinking of, what do I do? Do I throw to home? Do I throw to first? Do I hold the ball? That's what JD Davis struggles with. And I think it's more the intense mental thinking of a third baseman rather than the simple ground balls and stuff. So that's my only concern with Davis, and I can understand why you would want a natural third baseman. Maybe a guy like, Bryant, who obviously is much better in those scenarios. And that obviously makes sense, and I could agree and understand why people would want that. The Ramirez sweepstakes. Yeah, I mean, with J-Ram, honestly, he's definitely a high chance for this team. I mean, let's take a look. I haven't heard. We did see that the Cleveland Indians are going to be sellers this year, and I found that a little surprising, if I may say. Simply enough, I mean, the Cleveland Guardians, my apologies, the Cleveland Guardians, let's see where they are. I believe they're at 500. So that's a little interesting. Usually you're at 500, you're in somewhat contention. They're 49 and 48, so they're one game above 500. I mean, listen, you're in second place. Can you catch up to the White Sox? Probably not. But yeah, I think it's possible. I don't know what the asking price of the Cleveland Guardians would be. We've had some trades with them this past offseason, obviously, with Lindor and Carrasco. There's plenty of other options out there. I don't know specifically. We know that Zach Scott and acting general manager Zach Scott and Sandy Alderson stated they don't really want to trade anyone too big away. So, I mean, the Cleveland Guardians going to, want an Alexander Ramirez and, a Jalen Palmer? No, they're going to want a guy like Brett Beatty in this trade, and I don't think the Mets are going to want to give him up. But, you never know. It's a possibility. So, yeah, pretty much what Z Sports Card says is I don't think so. I just think the asking price is going to be something the Mets aren't going to want to agree with. In terms of talent, I'd be down, man. In terms of the talent, in terms of the glove, the leather, the bat, I'm down. But I just don't think the Mets are going to be up to it. The Phillies need pitching, Kimbrel. Yeah, I mean, the Phillies are going to make a big move at the deadline. Well, I'm not going to say big. They're going to make a move at the deadline. It's just going to come down to, obviously, they're not going to get Chris Bryant because they want to focus on pitching. I mean, if they didn't blow, 24 games already this season? It's like the Mets effect. They could still be a solid team. And they still are a good team, I feel. Phillies are above 500. I think it's their bullpen that kills them. They blow, 24, 25 games a season? Just shy of the record of 26, 27. So Phillies are going to need pitching, and I think that's really typically it. Harper's been showing some stuff. J.T. Realmuto's been showing some stuff. Phillies just really need pitching. That's really it. Aaron Nola's coming off a gorgeous start. I was watching some of that game. Great game. Phillies just need pitching. Craig Kimbrel, I mean, as a Mets fan, I'd be terrified. But as a Phillies fan, I'm sure they'd be down to it. Any news on Lindor? Yeah, so there hasn't been super much news on Lindor. I'll check Twitter, or I'll just type in Lindor on Google, see what comes up. Typically right now with Francisco Lindor, he is improving very well. The established timeline that was set by the Mets, I believe to my knowledge, was anywhere from 3 to 5 weeks. I did know Zach Scott, the acting general manager, did give a little speech today. He did give a little speech today, or a press conference, I should say. And he was asked about that, and he pretty much said that it was, obviously it was a right oblique strain, which put Lindor on the 10-day IL probably about a week or two ago. And it's a 3 to 5 week injury, obviously. So obviously Carrasco is going to be back way before. So, I'm hoping by September. That's my best recommendation, or my best advice I can give is probably September. And I think that'll be a great time for him to come back, the playoff run, and really help out this team. From Dalton, let's go Mets, guys. Good to see the Mets take 2 from one of the best lineups in the leagues. I have to agree with you, Dalton. Definitely. LFGM, what's going on? Logan, Cole, what's going on, man? Louis, Logan, what's going on? Ibandos, Marco, great stream. I appreciate it. From Alexander, hating. Hope you had a good weekend and a better weekend because the Mets took the series. I agree with you, man. I hope you had a good weekend too. It's very hot. I live in Florida, very hot. So when got to stay hydrated. Been watching a lot of baseball, playing it myself. So but great weekend to see the Mets take the series. Jed Larry, what's going on, man? I see you're improving with the Athletics very, very well. I saw you, I believe you hit a walk-off a couple days ago, right? Giovanni, what's going on? Talking Mets with Rob, man, what's going on? I hope you're doing well. I'm doing very well. Talking about Max Scherzer, he could definitely be a possibility. Like I said, if the Nats want to trade with us, that's the other thing too, is the asking price for Scherzer. I mean, what are you going to have to give up for Max Scherzer? I mean, simply enough, we'll go on a good website that I have. It's going to be a high asking price too. I mean, I think they'd be really silly to trade in division. And these are my concerns. Listen, I understand. Do you want to win now or do you want to win in 5 years? But I mean, I really don't want to trade a guy like Alvarez away. I feel, if we have to get Chris Bryant, they're going to want a Beatty or Alvarez. And it's just, that's unfortunate to really ask for. I mean, in terms of a Mets trading with Scherzer, I don't think he could be the only piece. We could probably get another bullpen pitcher, or I wouldn't say another starter. They don't have many starters that the Mets would really have interest in. But we're obviously gonna have to get rid of probably like a Pete Crow Armstrong, and probably at least, JT Ginn. I wouldn't really be super upset if we lose, because we have Kumar Rocker. So yes, losing JT Ginn would definitely be a dent. But I think Rocker obviously is the support for that. So we probably have to get rid of a guy like JT Ginn. I said Albert Almora Jr., Pete Crow Armstrong. Is 3 enough? Probably not. They're probably going to want a guy who's honestly MLB ready that could do something for them like today. So I would hate to see them give up a guy like, Tyler McGill. I would hate to see him go. He's really been helpful this season. But I don't know. They're talking about if he's been using substances or something. His stats, his ERA, FIP, WHIP, it's been inflating a little bit. So it's unfortunate that a lot of this happened. I mean, you don't have to be Sherlock Holmes to figure it out, but something to think about. Giovanni, Fats, what's going on? Stoney, hey, Hayden, what's going on, bro? I'm doing pretty well. Hope you're doing well also. Can't be that way. Rich Hill is 41. Yeah, Rich Hill is old. He's 41 years old. He's an old veteran. And it's really, really interesting to see him pitch that well. Obviously, he's done after the season. We're picking up his 1-year contract. He's done after the season. I don't know if he'll retire or do something. Just pulling up MLB TV to get ready for the game. But yeah, honestly, he's not going to be with this team very long. Padres weren't on Ramirez. Yeah, but what do they have Machado and Tatis, so I don't know where they're going to throw him. I mean, and now you already have I think they're already stacked. When they got Adam Frazier yesterday, I was like, what, they're going to throw him in left field? Go ahead. They really have no other positions really open. So, possibility. Alec, what's going on, man? Go Jays, what's going on? Hope you're doing well. I appreciate you tuning in. Yeah, Lindora, 4 to 6 weeks makes sense. Logan, LFGM, what's going on? Jack in the Box, Vincent, yes. Yeah, pretty much what I said before. Yeah, I think so too. And then Devin, all I speak is facts. You know it. And then he did use substances, evidence. Yeah, you know what? Well, now pitchers. If anything, this whole substance thing, so stupid how they did it in the middle of the season. You should have done it during the off season. That way, these pitchers could learn how to pitch again. Guys like I don't know. It's dumb. It really is. I don't know. But yeah, but please, everyone, if you could give this video a like, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. Let's try to get this channel out there to more baseball viewers, regardless, Mets, Yankees, Rangers, Padres, whatever. We do have a lot of non-Met fans on the channel, which I love. But the game is about to start. As Marco says, the game is about to start. So let's just hope that this Mets team can get something done. The offense could be nice today. And that's all we could ask for. Alonso's back in the 2-hole. That's what I like to see. And that's all we're going to talk about in today's stream. I appreciate everyone for tuning in. As always, we had a great stream. Great attendance, great chat going on. I appreciate everyone for tuning in to the stream. So this game is about to start, so I will be watching that. I definitely want to do another watch along pretty soon. A lot of people have been asking me on Twitter about that. They love seeing my rages and my commentary during that. So we're definitely going to do that. I always do live streams and extra innings in terms of the Mets. So hopefully we're going to have to see something about that. But yeah, otherwise, I appreciate everyone for tuning in as always. Awesome stream. And yeah, till next time, baseball fans. See ya. Let's go Mets. Let's go Mets.